Is the Poonch terror attack a sign of times to come? Sources tell India Today a number of terrorists have gathered at villages in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, opposite Jammu and Kashmir, and this is happening in Bimbargali and opposite Poonch. Now, on the map, let's try and explain some of the villages across the LC in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, where intelligence agencies are warned that terrorists of Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed have assembled at these villages. At times, they're brought to terror launch pads, and an effort is made to push them across. So there are 7 villages in POK. Let's talk about the villages opposite Bimbargali. So there is the Gora Gujarat, there is Panjan, there is Dantod, there's Matrayan, there's Lanjot, and Lanjot is a village where terrorists usually do assemble before they're taken to launch pads. Then there's also Tarkundi and Jandrota. Now this is a cause for concern when unmanned aerial vehicles or other efforts are made to find out. Terrorists are seen, increased movement is seen at these launch pads and in these villages. Now this is what was seen opposite Bimbargali. There are 11 villages not far from the line of control in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir opposite Poonch. Once again, intelligence agencies are warning that there is increased movement in these villages. So whether it's Chirikot or Chakia or Chaparkad or Mandar or Thok, or Sanai Rawalkot or Bokra Gali or Kahoot and Kalamula, these are some of the villages. 11 of these villages, there is increased movement that has been spotted. Intelligence agencies warned about this increased movement, but remember, it's been raining in that area, and using cover not just of clouds, rain and an overcast sky, terrorists often try to infiltrate. Of course, there are landmines. Of course, there is the anti-infiltration obstacle system in place in these areas, and soldiers sit in ambush, but terrorists, it appears, did succeed in infiltrating. I now want to cut across to India Today's Sunilji Bhatt, who joins us for more on this big story. Sunilji, you are in Bimbargali, you are where this terror strike took place. What's the latest with these counter-terror operations? And is the army doing something differently this time, considering that terrorists succeeded in escaping twice in the past 2 terror attacks in the past 2 years?
Well, after the Thursday's dastardly terror attack, now a major counter-terror operation is underway in the forest belt of the twin border districts of Rajouri and Poonch. The priority for the security forces is to ensure that the location of the terrorists is traced and they are neutralized as soon as possible. Remember, in the previous occasions here in the twin border districts of Rajouri and Poonch, the terrorists managed to give a slip to the security forces, and that caused a lot of worry in the security establishment. Now this time around, the agencies are coming up with a new strategy. They want to ensure that the terrorists don't escape from this area, and that is why a major cordon has been laid across the length and breadth of Rajouri and Poonch districts, but terrain remains a major challenge for the security forces. This area is surrounded by dense forests, and that is why it's going to take a lot of time for the security forces to trace these terrorists, but they are on their job and they are going to ensure that these terrorists are neutralized as soon as possible.
Sunilji also explained the ramification of the activation of terror launch pads across the LC, both opposite Bimbargali and Poonch. Is there an apprehension that there would be a spike in terror in the coming months?
Well, after the abrogation of Article 370 and 35A, there was a major crackdown on terrorism in the Kashmir Valley. We saw that top terror commanders were eliminated by the security forces. Funding of separatists was choked, and as a result of that, Pakistan was rattled. Terrorists were rattled. Now they have come up with a new strategy. They are focusing on the hilly districts of Jammu region. That is why there have been many infiltration attempts from the line of control. Pakistan wants to push as many terrorists into the hilly areas of Jammu region to create mayhem in Jammu and Kashmir, and that is why there are intelligence intelligence reports that the terror launch pads on the other side of the line of control have been activated. There is presence of terrorists there, and they are looking for an opportunity to infiltrate into the Rajouri and Poonch districts of Jammu and Kashmir. In the recent past, we have seen that many terror attacks have taken place here. There are reports that both foreign terrorists as well as local terrorists are involved in these terror attacks. Unfortunately, in most of these terror incidents, the terrorists managed to give a slip to the security forces. They managed to escape, and this has caused a lot of worry. As I said, that this has caused a lot of worry in the security establishment. So if more terrorists manage to infiltrate into Rajouri and Poonch districts, then there is apprehension that more terror attacks can take place, and that is why high alert has now been sounded across the length and breadth of Jammu and Kashmir, particularly in the twin border districts of Rajouri and Poonch district, because there are reports that there is presence of terrorists at the terror launch pads on the other side of the line of control. Terror launch pads have been activated, so vigil is being stepped up along the line of control here in Rajouri and Poonch district.
Sunilji Bhatt, many thanks.